So first off, I want to start by apologizing. This video is coming out much later than it was supposed to because I don't have a mic and I want to wait until I get a mic, but I still have not gotten a mic. So the audio on my videos is just gonna be rough for a while, but it's okay, guys. We'll rock with it until I can finally get at least a mini mic or something. Hiya, hey, so it's Jay. And today we are talking about my current biggest fixation, which, if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail and title and everything about this video, it is Hazbin Hotel. I personally haven't had a fixation this big since Mortal Kombat or Across the Spider-Verse. I am making OCs, I am reading fan fiction, I am making fan art, I am making AUs. This is big for me, so you guys better enjoy it while it lasts. There are a lot of things I could talk about when it comes to Hazbin Hotel, whether it's my season thoughts, my favorite characters, my favorite tropes, my favorite ships, or the fact that it somehow got me back into my third grade musical phase, which is a topic for another video. But today, I am focusing on a big pet peeve of mine in not only Hazbin Hotel, but the art community in general. Redesigns versus headcanons. For this video, I'm going to briefly talk about this piece, and then we're going to move on to the main topic of the video, redesigns versus headcanons. But before we get into that, please make sure to like and subscribe, comment, ask me any questions. If you have any thoughts about this topic, please be sure to let me know, because I have many of them, as you will see throughout the duration of this video. So throughout the duration of this piece, I had a couple challenges here and there. The main thing being that this sketch gave me such trouble. It originated in my sketchbook, just a random doodle based off of this one merch. I think it's a t-shirt, I don't remember, but I saw it on someone's story, and I was like, this is such a cool pose. Let me draw my version of Alistair in this pose. And I drew it in my sketchbook, and it looks great. I think it's in the Speedpaint recording, but I could not get it down digitally. I don't know why. It just was not working out. But eventually, after basically just tracing my own drawing, I did get it, as you'll see in the Speedpaint. This drawing is based off of my own personal Alistair design, so it's not exactly a redesign, it's more of a headcanon, as you could tell by the title of the video. He has curly hair. He still has chopped bangs. Okay, don't worry, I didn't take away his chopped haircut, but it's more like an Atsushi, like bad, weird, like jellyfish haircut that's kind of chopped, but also kind of not straight in some parts, curly in others. It's chopped, but it looks good. Alistair's bob in the show, it really does piss me off. I'm not even gonna lie. It makes me laugh, but knowing that that man had beautiful curls and they gave him that bob, it fills me with rage. Not at Vivzipop actually, but just like, it is what it is. There's honestly not much else to say about the piece, so we're gonna get into the main topic, my pet peeve. But first, we're gonna start off with some history. As most of you know, Hazbin Hotel is made by Vivzipop, an online creator. She is Salvadorian American, went to the School of Visual Arts in New York, had a thesis film on YouTube and a comic called Zoophobia. But her magnum opus was Hazbin Hotel, a pilot that was full of promise. It is honestly the first big indie pilot on YouTube that I personally know of. I'm sure there was others before it, but for me, it sparked a period of time where creators realized that there wasn't one way to get into the animation industry. You could go through YouTube or online forums. It was really when people started realizing that YouTube was a form of content creation that could be profitable and respectable in a way. Between the many controversies and varying opinions of the show, people seem to forget that it's the figurehead of indie animation. Some people even forget that these are someone's OCs. These are things taken straight out of someone's brain. This is essentially the same as my OCs I post on YouTube. Like, that's honestly crazy to think about. But if you really think about it, all media is just someone's OCs, right? So Luffy is Oda's OC, Rudo is Kaorana's OC, Gojo is Gege's OC, as much as he doesn't claim him as such. Everyone's characters, whether it's books or art or whatever it may be, it's just original characters, which is crazy to think about when some of these things just get so giant and big and famous. But at the end of the day, someone was just drawing this in their sketchbook like 10 years ago, and now it's in a full on show. This brings me to my first point. If bashing TikTok artists and unwarranted critique is bad, then at what point are you big enough that critiques do stand? Because obviously, when you post things online, people say, oh, you're opening up for criticism. But other people say that, oh, you can't criticize that because they're just an artist trying to learn. At what point is something big enough where it's no longer just an artist and their OCs, but you're allowed to basically bash it, like, totally? Honestly, I have no opinion one way or the other. I just think it should be equal. If you're going to bash TikTok artists, then you can bash big major corporation shows and vice versa. And if you're not going to bash major corporation shows, then you also can't bash tiny little TikTok artists. Like, just make it equal, basically. Hazbin Hotel and Helva Boss get so much of this unwarranted criticism. Is it Viv? Is it the art style? Is it the memes? Is it the humor? I know a lot of those things is just a whatever floats your boat type of thing. If you don't like it, then you don't have to like it. I personally think it's great, but I won't force my opinions on you if you don't think it's good, even though I definitely think everyone should watch it. But for Viv herself, I am not well informed on this, so don't take this as like a documentary or a video essay about Vivzy Pop's history. Please inform me in the comments if she's done anything really bad in recent years. But I feel like most of her controversy is nearly decades old for a person whose whole show is about redemption. If she can't be redeemed for things she did 5-10 years ago, then I feel like it's ridiculous that people watch her show in the first place, because the whole show is about being redeemed for things that you did in the past. I mean, Charlie in season 2 is literally a reflection of herself, as she said. It's a reflection of how she approached the media in a way that she knew she shouldn't have, but she just couldn't help. Charlie just kept on going and going and going after the media and making herself look worse, and Vivzy Pop admits that it's not the right thing to do. That's why Charlie is obviously one of the least favorite characters after season 2, because she was just going and going and going and going. She even got on my nerves a bit, to be honest. I think Viv admitting that her response to what I can only call bullying was wrong is really a reflection of her growth and her active attempts at redemption. I'm sure she's made even more mistakes along the way, but honestly, who doesn't? If I was a part of a creation this big, I guarantee you I would not have the self-control that she probably does. I also call it bullying because, sure, the show is a little cringe, but it's literally made for theater nerds, animator humor, and it's rooted in 2010's fandom culture and all their chaotic and shipping goodness. It's literally like Tumblr if it just spat out a show. In a good way, in my opinion. I love it. And this might just be from outside noise, because the communities that I'm a part of very much reflect that cringe culture is stupid sentiment. They are very much pro-cringe. But it gets to the point that I forget that there's an outside world where people still hate on anime and musicals and all sorts of things. Like, it's crazy to me. I am so inside this little culture that I forget that people actually don't like that stuff sometimes. I think part of the reason why Hazbin gets so much of this hate is that it flooded into the mainstream in a way that makes it a huge hit undoubtedly across so many fandoms. However, This backfired as it got sent into the view of normies, or people who laugh at kids with pins on their backpack and 15 bracelets on their wrist. Me. I also forget that some of these people are also artists, creators, writers who make content but are not a part of like Tumblr fandoms or anime or fan fiction and any of that type of stuff. They're still creators, but not exactly in the way that I think of creators. So they see this and think that it's cringe still. And honestly, like I said, it baffles me. I am so ingrained in my own culture that I don't even realize that there's stuff going on outside of it sometimes. These creators see someone who's honestly passionate about their work and somehow think that's right to say, I can make it better. I can change this and I should be the one writing this because I am better and you don't know what you're doing. And maybe they are. Who am I to say? I'm not a professional character designer. I don't intend to go to school for any type of art or animation. But to me, the difference between a redesign and a headcanon is a matter of respect. Respect for the artist and for the source material. I personally love Brujo Ari. This is a great example of headcanons because Brujo Ari took this thing that they loved and said, I'm going to put my own spin on the characters a bit. But once they realized that their spin was basically not a spin anymore and just a new character, they took it that far and just made them their own OCs. And I think that's a level of respect that you have to have for the original creators, is that once it gets a bit, too separated from the character, you're like, okay, I admit that this is basically just an OC now. But Hazbin redesigners don't do this. They basically don't watch the show, if they did watch it at all. And they say, okay, I'm looking at these character designs, and they're chopped and and ugly, and basically just change the whole thing. Hundreds of people will take these designs, not understanding the purpose or the intricacies behind them, or the characters, and just completely make them new, redesigning them, calling it better than the original source material, saying that they can write the characters better without even watching the show. I'm not saying Hazbin Hotel has the best writing or character design. I'm saying if you're going to completely change Charlie and Alistair's and Fox and everyone's story, then at that point, make your own story. If you could do it, then do it. Vivzy didn't start as a big creator. She posted a little small animation. Of course, it took time and resources, but she posted her own animation online. You could definitely do that too. You could gather up funds like people do. You can make friends within the community and build an animation team that can make your own pilot or comic or fanfic or whatever it may be. But don't call it a Hazbin redesign. Call it your OCs if you have such a problem with Hazbin. Like I said, I'm no Vivzy apologist or believe that everything about Hazbin is perfect. Critiques are fun. They have their place. I've ranted about my critiques to friends plenty of times. But when the internet is already a festering place for rants and opinions, why stir it up even more? I'm not saying not to say your critiques about it, but I think the way people say it, like I said, is very cruel and almost to the point of bullying and just straight up disrespectful to the creators of Hazbin Hotel. Not just Vivzy works on the show. There are other people who also help with the music and the character designs and the storytelling and the details and the backgrounds. There's so much about this show that isn't just one person. It is a bunch of people, and you're basically disrespecting their whole livelihood, their whole creation. I don't know. It's very mean to me in a way. In this piece, I use some of my Alistair headcanons. I haven't changed anything about his story. I haven't done anything that takes away from his character. I haven't redesigned him in a way that's completely separate from the world that Hazbin Hotel is in. I just changed the things that I didn't like as much. And if Vivzy Pop has a reason behind the ugly Bob, then I'll put the ugly Bob back on him. But I don't think the Bob is that serious. Now, changing Alistair to be a ghost figure, or like, I don't know. Some people just do crazy things. I don't even know. I haven't actually like deep dived into some people's character designs, but I see them and I see their like little notes and like the things where they change plots about Charlie and Raggy and Alistair. I'm like, this isn't Hazbin Hotel anymore. This straight up just isn't the plot of Hazbin Hotel. Like, what's going on? What are we doing, guys? Within the fandom is mostly so loving, and I think that's mostly because all of us are nerds in some sort, whether it's theater nerds, anime nerds, gaming nerds, cartoon nerds, whatever it is, we're all nerds and geeks within the Hazbin Hotel fandom. And there's so much outside hate that we have to stick together, even though we have shipping wars and character fighting and whatever. We have to stick together because the outside world of the Hazbin Hotel fandom literally hates our guts so much. It's literally not even funny. People hate this show. People want this show to die. It's so crazy to me. Going back to something I said earlier, I love just being a part of a fandom and enjoying it without like thinking about it too hard. There are certain times where I have critiqued shows and been very focused in on them and do analysis on them. I do that with Hazbin all the time. If you read me and my friends' DMs, it's literally just full of, oh, look at this image, and look how they analyze this, and the backstory behind Vox and Alistair and their BPD and NPD and all different types of character analysis and story analysis and critique. But other times, I'm just like, haha, I want to draw Alistair in a maid dress. And I just do it. It's fun. Hazbin Hotel is a fun fandom at its core, and I love fun fandoms. Hazbin Hotel, to me, is a fandom that can take critique because definitely needs a lot of it. It can take the work that it needs, but at the same time, it knows how to love the work. It knows how to appreciate it in all of its goodness, even though some of it isn't that good, it still appreciates it. If you haven't seen Hazbin Hotel yet, I highly recommend it. If not for the show itself, for the fandom, for the art, for the creation, for the creativity. It is honestly a beautiful fandom, and I partly think that's why it has become such a big fandom in my life recently, because I have been kind of missing that sense of community that I got with Undertale and Mortal Kombat and Across the Spider-Verse. I miss having those mutuals. I miss making those OCs and those AUs. I think even though a lot of those fandoms definitely have bad parts to them, Hazbin obviously has a bad part to them. What fandom doesn't have bad parts? Hazbin is an inspiring show. A show created with one idea that bloomed into a fandom young artists only dream of. Yet many will be discouraged to put out their own ideas because of the fear of getting the Vivzy treatment. I think it's very unfair to all these young artists to show them that if their art or writing isn't perfect, then you can't put it out because you will get hated on forever and ever and ever for some silly design that you made back when you were like 10 years old. I think it's very cruel, and I don't want that to happen to any little artists. For all of you in the Hazbin Hotel fandom, hearts out and horns up for this entire community. I love you guys so much. That's pretty much all I have to say on this topic. If you guys have any of your own thoughts, be sure to let me know in the comments below, and I'm totally up for making a part 2 or answering any questions in a second video, or just answering in the comments, of course. The last thing I have to say is that I actually got this piece signed by Amir Talai at a recent convention. This video was supposed to come out before the convention, but that obviously didn't happen. But here it is. It's signed, and it's really awesome, and I'm so happy that I got to meet him and Blake Roman. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome. But that's all for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit all the buttons and do all the YouTube things. Thanks for watching. Bye!